8th grade, back again. We're ready for lesson 13. And believe it or not, this is the last regular lesson that you'll do. You have self-check yet, and then another test. So we are really winding down. In fact, probably only one more video. All right, today, super easy. Well, maybe not. Writing sentences, lesson 13. So you need to turn to page 39. And I'll just go over this very quickly. Okay, so lesson 39, page 39, lesson 13, you're looking at writing sentences. How well can you follow directions? Well, you're just about done being in 8th grade. How well can you follow directions? That's a good question to ask ourselves, isn't it? Before we walk out of regular grade school. Okay, so here is a point that you want to notice in this lesson. Use only one word per hyphenated description. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at number 1. So they put hyphens between each description of what they want. So every time they give you a description and then a hyphen, but in that description, one word. Okay, so you will have as many words in your sentence as you have descriptions between hyphens. Okay, make sense? So let's do number 1. Take a look at number 1. Your first word in the sentence should be a helping verb. Now, what are the helping verbs? Helping verbs are words like have, has, and had. Do, does, did, can, could, shall, should, will, would, may, might, must, so on. All of those verbs that are used with another verb. Now, I would love to just go on a real spiel about this again because I have discovered that verbs are problematic. Who would have thought? But they are. And so maybe while we're on the subject, I'm going to give you one last little deal on verbs. So if you want to keep verbs straight, remember, there are only 3 kinds of main verbs. And helping verbs are not main verbs. Never. Anytime you have 2 verbs together, you always have a helping verb. And the helping verb is the one that is not the main verb. So it's the one that comes first. And it's the helping verb. So anyway, anytime you have 2 words that are the verb, then it means you have a verb phrase, and it means one of them is a helping verb, and that means the helping verb is not the main verb. Okay. So main verbs, action, being, linking. Only 3 kinds. Action, of course, we understand. Being, am, is, are, was, were, be, been, being. That's it. Only being verbs. And they cannot have a predicate adjective, predicate nominative following. If they have a predicate adjective and predicate nominative, then you go to the next category, linking verbs. So only 3 kinds of main verbs, action, being, linking. Helping verbs, anytime you have 2 words in the verb, one of those is helping, and it is not the main verb. It's a helping verb. So much for that. Helping verbs. So you begin the sentence with a helping verb. Now, think. If you begin a sentence with have, has, or had, what kind of sentence is this going to be? Has Johnny, has Sarah, have the children? It's a question. That's right. So you're going to be writing out a question here. So begin your sentence with have, has, or had. Now you're going to have a noun. So has Johnny. Now we need a verb. Has Johnny walked? So there's the verb. Next, you need a preposition and an article and a noun. That's a prepositional phrase. Yes. What's an article? Am and the are the articles. So there you go. We need a helping verb, have. Has Johnny walked around the school? Something like that. Now make it more interesting than that. But that's the point. So for each one, just one word. Now let's look at number 2. I thought number 2 was a little hard. I really did. I sweated over it a little bit. You need 3 words in this sentence. I want a noun, a linking verb, and a noun. So that noun is going to be a predicate nominative. And I kept wanting to put an adjective in there for my predicate nominative. So there aren't many sentences that work well with that three-word setup. But some of those are, you know, in Rome, Caesar wanted to be God. So you were supposed to say, Caesar is Lord. So that would be an example of a sentence. Or you could say, you know, Trump is president. That would work. You could say, Jesus is Lord. Something like that. But, you know, you need a subject, you need a linking verb, and then predicate nominative that renames the subject. Okay, so work your way through there. Be very thoughtful. Make sure you are following directions carefully and doing it as they say. Okay, I would just like to go a little bit over some of the we remember. So you have a diagram on number 6. I'm just going to help you with that very briefly. Okay, I still haven't found anyone to wash my board for me. I have to do it by myself every time, and I don't always get it done. So, man, it's a big mess right now. All right, so gesturing wildly, Aaron finally caught Mike's attention. So you, of course, see Aaron caught attention. Gesturing, notice gesturing. This describes Aaron. So it's an adjective, but gesturing is what I just did. That's a verb. So a verb that's being used as an adjective. Yes, participle. So remember, you want to put gesturing here, you put gesture on this part, and then the ing down here. Wildly is an adverb that tells how he's gesturing. I mean, adverbs under the... Yes, because this is a verbal, and verbals can have adverbs. So there you go. Finally would be an adverb telling when, and Mike's is an adjective describing caught. Pardon me, attention. Attention is a noun in this case. Okay. Down at the bottom of page 40, identify the underlined infinitive phrases as noun, adjective, and adverb. And they are tricky. They pull your leg, I'm telling you. But I'm going to be nice, and I'm just going to tell you. Now listen carefully to this, because I'm going to give you a big, big hint. Okay? Big, big hint. You have 4 of these. 4 of them. Okay? And you would think, okay, well, there's 3 of one kind, and then an extra. Wrong. Wrong, wrong. I don't know why they do this, but anyway, adverb. There are none. None of them are adverbs. So noun, yes, 3 of them are nouns. And adjective, 1. I just about gave you the answers, but look at them carefully and make sure you understand why is it a noun, why is it an adjective, and none of them are adverbs. Okay, but you do get to find adverbs in 13 and 14. Those are all adverbs, and draw the arrow to the word that it modifies. Pretty easy. Okay, then number 17 and 18, bracket the noun clause. Remember, a clause is a subject-verb pattern. It's always going to have an introductory word of some kind. It can be a relative pronoun or a subordinate conjunction. Remember, noun clauses, you don't know what they're going to be, but it's going to have an introductory word, and then you have a clause being used as a noun. Down to number 22, transitive and intransitive. Again, remember, you look at the action verb, and then you ask yourself, what? Who received this action done to it? And the answer could be the direct object, but the answer could be the subject. If it's a passive sentence, the answer will be in the subject. Many of the items at the gift shop down the road are made. Are made. Is there anything that is being made? If that answer is yes, then it's transitive. If the answer is no, it's intransitive. Okay, 23 and 24. Those are thinking about using the right pronoun. So we have Reba and Cassandra. Do I use her grandparents or their grandparents? Okay, remember that concept. Okay, number 24, you're going to choose between that and which. Remember the idea there? So you use that if the clause is essential, meaning, I hope I'm telling you right, I think that's how it is. If you can pull it out and it doesn't need to be there, it doesn't really change the meaning of the sentence, you would use which. But if it does need to be there, and if you pull it out, it drastically changes the meaning of the sentence, then you should use that. So you decide, should it be that or which? Okay, I think you can do the capitalization, and that brings us to the end. So thanks again for listening, and you have a wonderful day.